Hello, I am Pat Hamilton, Superintendent of Education and Program Services for the Upper Grand District School Board. I'm joined today by Wendy McIntosh, the Principal of Program K-12, and Tracy Hunter, Program Lead for Student Success, De-Streaming and Experiential Learning. It is my pleasure to give students and parents a brief overview of the transition from grade 8 to grade 9 in the Upper Grand District School Board. Our agenda for this presentation will begin with a brief overview of what high school is like in the Upper Grand District School Board. Then Wendy McIntosh will highlight the differences between elementary and secondary schools. And finally, Tracy Hunter will take you through a summary of the supports that exist for students as they move from grade 8 to grade 9. The Upper Grand District School Board is situated on ancestral treaty and tidal lands of two Anishinaabeg Ojibwe nations, the Mississauga of the Credit and the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation. This land also includes a specified tract of land granted to the 6 nations of the Grand River. These nations hold legal and specific rights in their respective territories. This area has been and continues to be home for Indigenous peoples and non-Indigenous peoples. As an educational community, we have a responsibility to identify and describe racism and oppression and then work to dismantle it. The Upper Grand District School Board is committed to disrupting systemic racism and oppression in all of its forms. We will implement ongoing mandatory anti-racism and anti-oppression training for all staff, review our protocols and policies, including our hiring practices, and be fully transparent and accountable to all Upper Grand students, staff, families, and stakeholders in an ongoing manner. Whether you are new to the Upper Grand community or have a student coming from one of our elementary schools, we want you to be aware of some of the great resources and opportunities available to you in our secondary schools. The Upper Grand offers 10 secondary schools with grade 9 programming spread out throughout different regions of the board, 4 secondary schools with French immersion programming, and 1 secondary school with an international baccalaureate program. We have ESL programs and supports for multilingual learners, and diverse on-site and e-learning options. There are a variety of specialist high skills major programs at every secondary school and experiential learning and specialized programs based on enrollment. Although each of our high schools is unique and offers diverse and varied programming, there is often a myth surrounding secondary schools, that it is large, uncaring places with few supports. That is simply not true. As you can see from this slide, there are many support personnel to support the needs and success of all students. For example, all schools have wonderful transition opportunities like orientation days, grade 9 information nights for parents and caregivers. All schools have active learning commons spaces. In addition, we know how important it is for students to get involved in activities outside the classroom, and all of our Upper Grand District School Board secondary schools offer many opportunities that include clubs and affinity groups. Finally, each high school offers guidance and pathway support for students to explore future opportunities in each of the 5 main post-secondary destinations. The last topic I will cover is around de-streaming. All of our secondary schools offer de-streamed grade 9 classes. That is, the majority of students will take the same type of course, which allows more time for them to develop as people before making decisions in course selection that will steer them toward a more specific initial post-secondary pathway. De-streaming is an opportunity for students to focus on successful transition into high school at an important time in development as learners and as people. Finally, it's an opportunity for us as educators to focus on effective, inclusive instructional practices that benefit all students. While the majority of students will participate in de-stream programming, we continue to offer locally developed courses for students who would benefit. Schools have more information for parents and caregivers around this. I will now turn you over to Wendy McIntosh to speak more about the day-to-day of high school, including graduation requirements.
Thank you, Mr. Hamilton. My name is Wendy McIntosh, and I'm the Principal of Program here at the Upper Grand. The next few slides will just highlight some of the key differences and similarities between elementary and secondary school. So grade 9 is a natural next step in the continuum of learning for students. They will find many connections to previous learning, similarities in instructional practices, and opportunities to apply skills developed in elementary to experience success. Some key differences that grade 8s and their families should know include When you get to high school, we have semesters, 2 semesters, each lasting 5 months. There are 4 periods in the day. In each of those periods, students take a different subject. Students in high school have a greater level of independence, including options, where available, to leave school for lunch. Students have lockers with locks. Students earn credits when they successfully complete a subject. There are specific graduation requirements. This represents a typical timetable for a student. As you can see, there are 4 periods in the day, a break between classes, and about an hour for lunch. To graduate with an Ontario Secondary School diploma, students need to successfully complete 30 credits. That includes a blend of both what we call compulsory or required credits and electives. Those are credits that allow students more choice to explore additional interests and curiosities. Students need to complete 40 hours of community involvement. In grade 10, they will be required to complete a literacy and numeracy requirement. In addition, 2 of the credits students earn are required to be online learning credits. In January, students will complete their course selection for grade 9. Although there are some differences with specialized programming, in general, grade 9s must take an English, a math, science, geography, and French. Also, 3 electives. They may choose to take their required arts, phys ed, and or junior tech education credits in grade 9. I will now turn you over to Tracy Hunter, Program Lead for Student Success.
Thank you. Making the transition from elementary into secondary school is both an exciting step as well as one that comes with different emotions for our students and their caregivers. We want our students and their caregivers to feel as confident as possible and so offer a variety of supports for each step. 2 of the biggest areas we aim to provide support with for students and their families is through knowledge sharing and guidance. We know that parents and caregivers have the most important role to play in this process, and we want to make sure you have the tools to help. Both staff on the elementary and secondary side of transition from 8 to 9 are available to answer questions and assist with planning that will help ensure success for your student. For students who benefit from additional supports, we also have special education staff, child and youth counselors, and social workers, ESL resource teachers, student success teachers, and an Indigenous grad and transitions coach. Outside of school hours, families can always access information through the Transitioning to High School page on the Upper Grand Pathways website, the high school websites, many of which have a page specifically for incoming grade 9s, and My Blueprint. All schools in Ontario have what is referred to as a digital pathways planning tool, meant to support students with exploring their options both in high school and beyond. In our board, the tool is called My Blueprint. My Blueprint is a multi-purpose tool that allows students to consider who they are and make connections to high school course options, potential career paths, and post-secondary programs. In January, grade 8s will do course selection for the first time using their My Blueprint accounts. Many of our grade 8s are already exploring this tool right now, using it to learn more about themselves, set goals, and getting familiar with the high school planner, so when the time comes, they will feel confident with selecting their courses. Parents and caregivers have access to their own accounts, which allows them to see the courses offered at the secondary school their student will attend and have conversations with the student as they decide which electives to take, etc. As Superintendent Hamilton mentioned, all of our high schools plan and implement their own comprehensive programming related to guidance and supporting success for their incoming grade 9s that reflects the school communities they serve. The schools are your best sources of information for learning about what they offer and what your student can look forward to in the years to come. Between now and December, schools will be hosting parent-guardian information nights and facilitating guidance counselor visits to the elementary schools. Orientation days for grade 9s will happen, with few exceptions, in August. Many of the schools offer tech education elective exploration days as well. In addition to this, our board also supports with career exploration opportunities planned in partnership with community organizations in the different regions for grade 8s to explore. Some of these opportunities are already happening now. Through consultation with a variety of stakeholders, we have laid out an approximate timeline that students and their caregivers can follow around transitions. From now until winter break, students are focused on learning about themselves and their secondary school options. In January and February, they will be asked to apply their learning to date to make course selections for the secondary school they will attend in fall of 2025. From March to June, the focus will shift toward preparing for the next steps, including what additional learning opportunities might exist to help them with skills upgrading and/or getting a head start on high school in their summer months. We're hosting a virtual My Blueprint information and support session for parents and caregivers on November 6th in the evening, and you're invited to join us. Information has been sent home through the elementary schools to support caregivers with accessing that event. The dates for school-based information nights for grade 8 parents and caregivers will all be listed on our central website as well as the high school websites, and information will be available through your elementary school as well. We know that this time comes with many questions. Please don't hesitate to reach out to your elementary or secondary school for support. If you will be new to Upper Grand in 2025 or are a caregiver of a current student with a question but are unsure of where to start, please use the form on the Upper Grand District School Board Pathways website to submit any questions, and we will get back to you in a timely manner. On behalf of the team at Upper Grand, thank you for the role that you play in supporting your student with this important step. We wish you and them a wonderful grade 8 year, celebrating all of their accomplishments to date and a successful first step into grade 9 in the fall.